Hey guys, um, somebody asked me a question the other day, and I was like, I gotta really think about this for a minute to see what I really, it's been years since I've even had to deal with anything like this. So, um, yeah, I really wanted to feel into it within myself and how I feel now, and also feel into, um, spirit, just kind of let it marinate. Sometimes you have to not give an answer immediately and you just got to kind of sit with it for a little bit. And I've done that for a few days now. So I think I've got a more clear answer from the standpoint that I'm coming from now. So here I am and sharing it with you guys because I think some of this could benefit a lot of you guys as well. But all right, so my general standpoint on um, friendships with exes. Very uncomfortable subject, right? Okay, so in this case, this feminine had a masculine who was being defensive that he wanted to stay friends with an ex. And she's like, I know they've had relations and obviously they've had sex and everything. So she goes, what do you do when he wants to hang out with somebody like that? Um, what I didn't like hearing was how defensive he was about it. That's really not a good sign. If he were to have explained the situation, how far they go back, that there really aren't any feelings there, and and it was a good, healthy relationship. It's not like codependent. Nobody was being toxic or anything like that. Then I would listen to that masculine and give him the benefit of the doubt and kind of see how it goes. But honestly, if there has been that toxic thing going on where somebody's bossing someone around or being fake, they're one personality in front of people and then they're totally nasty and mean behind the scenes, or they make you doubt yourself, or they're manipulative at all in any way, then I definitely would not continue a friendship with somebody that I had been with. I've never done it. I really don't condone it, only because there's always, in every relationship where there's, I don't, when one person has liked the other one, let's just say that. I was going to say like opposite sex friendships, but really, I mean, there's gay people and stuff too. So however this applies to you, you know what I mean. There's always somebody who likes somebody more than the other one. There's always going to be that. There's going to be somebody. So either you're the person who really likes the other person and you're holding on to hope, and even if you're just going to settle for a friendship, it's good enough for you because you get to be around them. And that's hurting you, and it's not good for your soul. Go find a friendship that's more healthy, that where you're not hurting around them because you love them so much. Number one, or number two, you're the person who is hurting that person, stringing them along, maybe even thinking this is going to be provide for a plan B in case your divine feminine should, God forbid, find somebody better than you, which is like the divine masculine's ultimate fear, and it's like almost always there. It's like they I did a reading recently where that's what I felt into, is that this is a different one than the one that asked this question, but they were saying, I really felt that they were so insecure that they were keeping the ex around just in case. And it's like, you never want to go back to something that toxic anyway. So how about just be done with it? I'm so protective my of my relationships, or even actually of me in general, and the fact that that line can be crossed so easily, that I'm really careful about being with somebody somebody of the opposite sex in an intimate setting, just the two of us, unless it's a prospect for romance, of course. But I try to be super, super professional across the board with somebody and try not to be, obviously what I do is very intimate with people, but I'm doing it over video. So there's distance. It's not like they can reach out and touch me or anything like that. And I do actual sessions with men as well in person, but I make sure that there is a respectable distance, and I make sure that the setting is such that it's not conducive to something like that happening. You know what I mean? So, and I just feel that it's very important in any relationship you're looking at, the degree of how healthy the relationship is greatly dependent on how the couple is able to consider one another's feelings. So if somebody is in great distress or very, very uncomfortable with something that's going on, I think it needs to be considered. It needs to be well thought out, and there needs to be some empathy for your partner. So now, there are extremes to everything, you guys, obviously. So it would be a case-to-case basis. But if you have someone who's like, they don't love themselves and they're constantly needy and constantly insecure and constantly needing reassurance, and it's just an extreme situation where you just cannot convince them that you love them for the life of you, that's not a relationship that's healthy enough, at least at this point in time, to sustain. So you're wasting your breath constantly trying to reassure that person. But if we're talking about somebody who's normally pretty darn level-headed, and this is a trigger for them, then you guys need to at least maturely really discuss it, and really, instead of being defensive, like really listen with an open heart and an open mind and say, I really care about what you have to say right now. Let me know how you feel. Then that can work. Irregardless of what you guys decide to do about the situation, you guys need to be on the same page about all these different things that could come up. So in her situation, being that he's so defensive, I would say he's probably not ready for commitment. Because somebody who's ready for commitment would take her more seriously, or take you more seriously if you're listening or watching. But you really, that's not good that he's being so defensive about it and not wanting to listen to you or care about you. So I would probably back off away from that situation. And I would say, you know what, that feels really uncomfortable. And unless we can come to some kind of an understanding between us that makes both of us feel safe and comfortable, then I'm not going forward. I think that it's safety and comfortableness is just really important. That's what establishes trust, and that's what establishes rapport, is that you do very much care about that person and you want as much for their happiness as for your own. One person is being way too selfish and they're getting their way on everything, and the other person is just giving everything. That's very much imbalanced. So, I've known people who've been friends with the opposite sex for a super long time, many, many years, and it's old hat. It's like no big deal. They maybe had a short little thing a long, long time ago, but now it's just like they're a good confidant or something like that, and they're like a really good ear, and they really just it's blatantly obvious to both of you that nothing would ever be there between you guys. That's a different situation. So it really does depend on what's going on there. But anybody toxic from your past, anybody that you fought a lot with, or anyone who is kind of two-faced or manipulative at all, I would definitely, absolutely, 100% cut those people out of your life. Don't pretend. Don't. There's just no reason. I'm one of those rip the Band-Aid off kind of people. It's just like either it works for me or it doesn't work for me. If it doesn't work for me anymore, it's out. It's out. So, and I don't mean that I'm not willing to compromise or any of that. You guys know I'm very easygoing when it comes to, like, if somebody really comes with their heart and pleads their case or whatever, I'm not a cold person. I'm just saying that I'm decisive. I didn't used to be so decisive, but I've become pretty darn decisive because I don't waste my time anymore. You know what I mean? And I love myself. I love myself enough to really want to be comfortable and to flourish in my relationships. So, yeah. So I guess it just depends. It totally depends on the situation. I think both of you having open hearts and open minds and discussing anything that comes about, whether it's this situation or a different situation, try to approach it as a team. Try to approach it together. And see, this is actually, this kind of alludes to an Instagram that I posted the other day about like, what if what if you find out that your counterpart, once you guys are like, because there's this big separation, a lot of you haven't really gotten to know the other person very well yet. But what if you find out that they have some kind of really a troubled teen who's really wreaking havoc in their lives? Or what if you find out they have like hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt? What if you find out that they have an STD? What if you find out that they have like really super needy parents, elderly parents that need to be cared for 24/7? And they, what if somebody's been to jail? I mean, whether they were guilty or not, what if they've been to jail? And like big stuff like that. And this would be included in that mix is what if they're friends with an ex? There's so many different scenarios. Or what if they have a handicapped child? You guys, I've heard it all, as you know. And there are so many people who are just like, oh man, are they really going to love me? Because I have this baggage, or I have this thing, or I have my past. I used to do this, or I've had this, or whatever. It's the same thing. I think you guys need to just work as a team and come up with solutions together. And sometimes two heads are better than one. Sometimes you guys come up with stuff, brainstorming that really enhance the other person's life. Sometimes or like a chronic illness. Some of you have like incurable things, or really like things that you have to spend a lot of money on and get a lot of supplements or have to go to regular doctor visits all the time, or that kind of thing, for IVs or diabetes or all kinds of stuff, right? Whatever the issue is that you guys are facing, I just think you guys need to be on the same team and work together on it. Usually a true love counterpart would stick by your side no matter what it is. And so it's just a matter of being solutions oriented rather than focusing on whatever the obstacle is. And usually that person loves you so much that they will enhance your life somehow in regards to whatever that matter is. So don't feel like that you are not worthy of this love because if you have this thing, because this is actually the one person that you can confide in. This is the one person that will validate you, the one person who does have your back, the one person who isn't, this is somebody who's in your corner. This is somebody who should be in your corner. And if they're not, then they, we have this scale of when the relationship is not ready and it's immature, and then it kind of grows into the mature version of this relationship. But if you're in these stages and there's the typical, it almost seems like a karmic type of thing going on, then don't even engage yourself in this stage of the relationship. Let it grow through the years to get up here where both of you guys can take personal responsibility and maturely discuss things as a team. And like I said, what the goal is that both of you, no matter what you face, can discuss things to the point that that whatever conclusions you guys come up to are comfortable and safe for you both. Period. If that's not happening, then maybe even get a mediator, or of course, something like that. Hopefully you guys would have the ability to discuss it just between the two of you till you could find a compromise or a comfortable spot. But yeah. So friends with exes, I'm not for it. Friends with opposite sex even, I'm not for it. But it doesn't mean that there aren't exceptions out there. that can be had if it's a good, healthy, beneficial thing. But usually if something is healthy and beneficial, your partner's not going to have an issue with it. So the fact that they have an issue with it might be saying something too. So think about that. So yeah, you guys just fill it out for yourself. Obviously, I'm here for you, and I could do a session with you, and I could feel into the other person to see where they might be coming from, and to see how best you might be able to approach the situation with that person. I'm trying to think if there's another point that I was meaning to make. I think I've covered it. Anyway, yeah. Feel free to discuss it in the comments below as well amongst yourselves. You don't have to agree with me. I know that it's a little bit of an extreme. I'm a little bit of a prude that way, but I'm just really protective of relationships. Either something is building and enhancing your relationship, or it's destroying it slowly, or maybe even fast. So I think it's just important that you choose to do things in your relationship that are enhancing and building your relationship and helping the two of you be even stronger. So, all right, have a beautiful day, you guys. And if you do have any talks that you would like me to do, just please send it to me in a brief summary of what you'd like me to talk about, and I'm happy to talk about it if it resonates and if it feels relevant for that moment. And otherwise, you can go to my playlist, Talks About Life. I have a lot of great information in there, things about setting healthy boundaries with people, how to be a really good, effective listener. I mean, all kinds of gold nuggets of information in there. So maybe even before you ask me, browse through there, or just put in Amy Satori and whatever the subject is, even codependency or pigeonholing or whatever, and just see if it's there, you know. I know a lot of people who've started going through the Talks About Life, and they're just really, really loving it. So, all right. Have a great day, guys. Talk to you later.